Hi, it's Jennifer at Home, and I'm so happy you're here today because today I have one of my most famous special recipes ever, and it is for homemade chicken and dumplings. So I dedicate this video to my son Mitchell, who loves this recipe of his mom's homemade chicken and dumplings. This recipe is very special to me because this is a recipe I've been making since the 1990s. That's a really long time, but my son happens to love this recipe, and every time I see him, even though he's an adult now, he'll say, "Mom, can you make me homemade chicken and dumplings?" And of course, I'm honored. It's my pleasure to make this recipe for him. And now it'll be out there on YouTube so he can look this recipe up as you can as well, and make it anytime you feel like a tasty, warm, comforting meal of homemade chicken and dumplings. Let me show you just how easy it is and just what few ingredients we need to make this wonderful, tasty recipe. These are the only ingredients we need to make this wonderful chicken and dumpling recipe. We need a box of chicken broth, a big can, a small can of cream of chicken soup. You can use rotisserie chicken or canned chicken. Any cooked chicken you have will do, and an 8-count container of biscuits. The first thing we're going to do is take our biscuits and set them out on a cutting board, and then just take a knife and cut them into pieces. They don't have to be perfect. And these are going to be our dumplings. The first thing we're going to do is put our chicken broth in a big pan. Next, we'll add all of our cream of chicken soup. Now I'm going to put my big pan on medium-high, and I'm going to mix all of the cream of chicken soup with the chicken broth. I'm going to mix it until it's really well blended. Now that this is getting nice and hot, the chicken broth and the cream of chicken soup, it's all mixed together. I'm going to go ahead and add in some fresh ground black pepper. And you can add however much you like. And I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken. This chicken is already pre-cooked. This is a rotisserie chicken that I got at the grocery store. And I'm going to go ahead and add it in and stir it in. You can add as much or little as you like of the chicken. I'm going to add about a cup and a half. Cup and a half to 2 cups is a really good amount for this. And as this heats, it's getting thicker and thicker. We want to get this to a nice little boil. Not a giant rolling boil, but just a nice simmering boil. Okay, this is getting just how we want it. It'll come to a low boil where we can just see the bubbles coming up, and it'll just start bubbling. And I'm going to go ahead and add some dry parsley. Now that I've added my chicken and my dry parsley, you can see it's coming to a low boil. Lots of bubbles coming up, so what we're going to start doing is taking our biscuits and just dropping them in pieces far apart so they don't stick together. Dropping them all around the very top of our pan. These biscuits are going to start cooking right on top. And you want to drop them in rather quickly so that they all cook at the same amount of time. If you have any real big ones, break those apart so they're not too big. You want them to be all relatively the same size so that they all cook evenly. Okay, after we've dropped all of them in, we're just going to take our spoon and lightly just press them down under the surface. And that way we don't break them all apart because they're very soft and tender right now as they're cooking. And if you get a chance, just lightly just flip them over, but you don't want to stir it harshly. You want to do this very delicately. Make sure they're completely covered with the boiling liquid, and that way they'll be sure to cook all the way through. You'll be able to tell when they go from squares to fluffy little clouds, then they'll be done. You can see I have some here that are turning into fluffy little clouds instead of squares. This usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes. I like to use a pot that's really nice and wide because that way I have a larger surface to work with. And I don't have the little dumplings piled on top of each other. I can spread them out across the surface of a nice big pan. It's been about 3 to 5 minutes and I've got all of the dumplings looking nice and fluffy and round, like little soft pillows, and I've covered them over with the liquid many times, so I'm sure that they're done. So I'm going to let these sit for a few minutes and they'll continue cooking in the liquid. And it's too hot to eat right now anyway, so I'll just let these sit for just a few minutes and then I'll lightly dunk them all under the liquid one more time so they're completely coated. And then it'll be time to serve. Now it's time to dish up the chicken and dumplings, and this is how it looks. At this point, if you were going to put fresh parsley, this would be the perfect time to put fresh parsley on top after you dish it up and have it ready to serve. And here's how the chicken and dumplings turned out. I am truly grateful to those of you who came to watch my video today. Thank you so much. And to those of you who have subscribed, I appreciate it so much. If you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it. I would love for you to do so. And click the bell button as well. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And I'll see you next time.